Well, it is about that time. And hopefully we get some people to join us. Well, hello, hello, hello. It is time for Sunday dinner. And hopefully we have some success this time. We will see. So we are making something that I have never, well, I've made this type of thing before, but never this specific recipe before. So it is a bit of a learning thing, but at the same time, I think we're going to have some fun. I hope so. That's always the intent. Have a little bit of fun, a little bit of enjoyment. So, let's see here. And if anybody wishes to join the video, feel free right there to join on in. So we got 5 people here. And part of that, I think, might be due to joining a few more Facebook groups for truckers who cook. So I think I've been 4 or 5, I think 5 now, trucker cooking, groups on Facebook. And I post there as well to try to make sure that I can put this out for as many people as possible. So we got Facebook, we got 2 YouTube channels streaming right now, so I think we should be A-okay. So we're going to get our ingredients ready. We're going to do what the French call mise en place, which basically everything in its place, which means getting things set up and prepared, and being the weekend, things to do, laundry to get done, video to edit, cleaning, organizing, straightening, vacuuming, blah, 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 blah. We're waiting till the last minute like we used to. Golden Gamer Movies. Well, I'm glad to have you. Glad to have you. Hopefully you find this interesting enough to watch for at least 5 minutes. We will see. We'll see how incredibly mind-numbingly boring I can be to chase you away. So we'll do what we can. So we're going to get a few things set here. Like I said, mise en place, getting things set up and ready to rock and roll, so we can hopefully have a somewhat smooth live stream going here, hopefully. So we're just going to grab our stuff that we need and just get everything as set as we possibly can. Need a whisk. So we are going to get our tools. We're going to do that first. Then we're going to get our ingredients. We're going to go through what we're going to make. And it's still a moment here before, I want to give another couple of minutes to see what's going to be made. But we're going to do our typical cooking and blah, 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 blah. Running my mouth as I usually do. Well, thank you very much. I do appreciate that. Yeah, Lori's been really nice to me, and I'm glad to have you all coming over. I still am out there. If any of you crocheters, any of you knitters also quilt, I have a commission for you for a quilt for this truck's bed. Hey, still in you, still in you. How you doing? Good. Thanks for coming in. I ain't seen you in a little bit, but that's the way of the world. So glad to have you. Like I said, any of you crocheters do quilting, I have a commission for you to build to make a quilt for this truck for this bed that I'm sitting on right here. I would like a quilt because it's a lot nicer than just the standard blankets. You know, I would like that as well. I believe I popped in for a little bit a couple days ago, but I never have the time just to do what I need to do, so it is hard for me to get into other people's stuff, and I just got myself, finally somewhat set for the day. I'm still a little behind for the day. Okay, Mr. Jeff Wright. All right, let me find my stupid thing here. Where'd my little piece of paper go? Ah, here we go. Right here. All right. So here were the options for this week, and we did 6 options instead of just 5 like I typically do. All right, number 1, Swedish meatballs with a mashed potato and green beans. Number 2, chef salad, a super easy dish, but we were going to put some meats and whatnot in there. Make a little homemade vinaigrette sauce, salad dressing for that. Fresh croutons. Really do a real quality chef salad, not just something you're going to get from the truck stop or a restaurant. Make it so it's actually something you make at home. Number 3 was barbecue chicken, coleslaw, and baked beans. Number 4 was a classic shoyu or soy sauce based ramen, which if you see my Facebook post, I love ramen. Grew up 10 years in Japan. Ramen. I could do that every day. And I've already done it 3 times this week, so there you go. Number 5 was a chicken curry on top of rice. Simple dish. Number 6, Florentine chicken alfredo with farfalle pasta, bowtie pasta. So Florentine typically means spinach and alfredo sauce. Everybody knows the typical white sauce with that. But we got enough people in here now, yammered on enough. So that is our dinner tonight. Swedish meatballs from scratch. Not store-bought meatballs, from scratch. So, I don't know if we can, probably going to wash out here, but what the heck, we'll try it anyway. There we go. So, I recently put this calendar on the refrigerator here. So, tomorrow, we're going to be making shami kebabs. My friend Christina is going to be cooking those. Tuesday is kind of an open night. Whatever needs to be, whatever we want to make, we make. Wednesday we're going to be doing breakfast for dinner. Thursday I'm making potato soup. Friday is an open day. I don't know what I'm going to do. Probably leftovers or just whatnot. Saturday, tempura, gyoza, little dumplings, and ramen or soba. So a Japanese night for me on Saturday, which I may do a live stream of there, especially for the tempura. And these are the people that voted for voted for it. Let's see here. Josh McLean, how you doing? Welcome in. We are in Iowa 80, Walcott, Iowa, world's largest truck stop. Well, if you saw I did do a post where I divvied up a pork belly. So, I got no problem doing that. So, we're going to be getting ourselves set here. All right, so here we go. So I am using the recipe from damndelicious.net. Now, I looked at a whole bunch of Swedish meatball recipes. This is the one that I came to like. Backwoods PNW, how you doing? We are doing good. We're cold. It's a bit windy here in Iowa. Here off of I-80. A little bit cold, but the heater is working fine. All electricity is working fine, so we're good to go. But like I said, damndelicious.net is the recipe we're using. So we got some salt and pepper here. Blah, blah, blah. Got to move some things around here as we get ourselves set. And hopefully we can get this going right. And of course, there's not enough room, so everything's got to be kind of tight. We're going to use a bit of olive oil. In this dish, we are going to use instant mashed potatoes. Just because trying to cook in, the potatoes with the limitations I have in the truck, so we are going to be using instant mashed potatoes for that. All right. In this dish, we're going to use a little bit of ground allspice. Let's see. We're going to be using a bit of ground nutmeg. A bit of Italian seasoning, a bit of herbs. And yes, I am kind of adapting this recipe a little bit more my flavor. But salt, pepper, olive oil there. We got some panko or Japanese style breadcrumbs. And what else we need? We got a bit. And normally I use the salt out of here, but we're just going to use it out of the grinder there, whatnot. But so we're going to do that. And let's get our cold ingredients here, which is the thing that, all right, that always makes the thing a little bit more. So we got a bit of sour cream for the end, for our gravy for it. Got a little bit of minced garlic. This is a little bit of cut the corners a little bit type stuff, but not by a whole lot. So here's the gyoza that I'll be using, later, later in the week. I had some last night, so I gotta disassemble the refrigerator here a little bit to get everything out that I need. All right, so we got a bit of. This is probably just a little bit over a pound of ground pork. That's going into our meatballs. Let's see, where is it? Here we are. We got a pound of 90% lean ground beef, which normally I don't do a 90% ground beef. Usually I'm doing like a 73% ground beef just because I like a lot more fat, but that's not exactly going to work for this recipe. So, kind of got to compromise on that. So, try to get everything back in there. Parmesan cheese, sauerkraut, gyoza, ham, bit of green onion. We got some organic grass-fed ground beef for the shami kebabs we're going to be doing tomorrow. Salty Dog, how you doing, sir? And, of course, T.J. Jones, the Bull of the Woods, up there from Oregon. All right. So we also need a little bit of egg. So we got 2 eggs here. We're only going to be using the yolk. we're not going to be using the whites. Right? We also got a bit of fresh parsley. Stick that back in there. Now in the mashed potatoes, find it here. Here we are. In the mashed potatoes, we are going to be using a bit of chicken stock. We are going to be using butter. We are going to be using milk. So, you know, we're going to make it nice and yummy, as they like to say. So, the main thing right now we're going to do is we're going to be working primarily on, since we're using the instant mashed potatoes, that this doesn't take any time at all. You know, it just takes, you know, a moment. Where's my green beans? There's my green beans. All right. We're gonna let those can thaw out a little bit. We ain't gonna cry about that a little too much. But like I said, Colin Hain, how are you doing, sir? Thank you for coming in. Appreciate it. So Swedish meatballs, like I said, we had, let's see, 6 votes for that. We had 1 vote for the chef salad, 1 vote for the barbecue chicken, coleslaw, and baked beans, 1 vote for the chicken curry. Now, get this kind of organized here for our trash. There we go. But we don't need the peach jam. We'll put that on the side. Unfortunately, Phoenix Music, how you doing? Welcome in. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be doing Swedish meatballs 100% correct because I was not able to find lingonberry jam, jelly, preserves, or the fruit. So we're kind of left a little bit lacking with the with that, but you know, there you go. All right, so we got a nice big bowl. You see that's bigger than my head. So this is my this is my typical mixing bowl. I do not have a mixer. I mean, I got a small, you know, I got a small stick blender. Christina put a a Ninja blender on here, but that's not going to give you the best way to do this. So, we need a little bit. We're gonna need a bit of onion. We got an onion around here somewhere. Here we go. So we're gonna dice basically half an onion. This is your typical yellow onion type affair. So get our we got our cutting board. Like I said, we got 4 of these regular bowls here, which we're going to use for our like I said, our mise en place. Right? We're going to get everything prepared, put everything, you know, in proper places, whatnot. So a good old chef knife. And yes, my knives, once every several times I do a lot of cooking, I will throw these on a sharpening stone, you know, little handheld one. But every time you use a knife, especially a chef's knife, you know, full size, use a steel. All this does is touch up that very fine edge that actually does the cooking. Right? It makes everything you do a little bit safer, because a sharp knife is safer than a dull knife. A dull knife will slip. A dull knife needs more force to do the same job. A sharp knife works a lot better. Like I said, it's safer to actually use. So now there is the thing. Well, if you cut an onion by the root first, you won't get tears, but that's a load of malarkey. You have to have the propensity for tears. You need to have high water content in your tears in order for the sulfuric acid to be created, which is why you cry when cutting an onion. All right, so let's turn this down here. See what we're doing here a little bit? There we go. So we're going to take off the outer layer here. And like I've said many a time before, if I were in a regular house, there's all these kitchen scraps would be going into my vegetable garden compost pile. To recycle all that nutrients. But unfortunately, we are not in that kind of position. So we're going to take half of that, just set that off to the side. Now, a good French technique, which helps to evenly cut this, is go almost all the way through. Leaving just like a 1/4 inch at the very end, so that it all holds together. Cut it all the way around like that. Then you cut, take that little bit of skin out of there. There we go. Then you cut this way as well, almost all the way through. Being careful not to cut yourself or slip. Now it's been cut 2 ways. The natural shape, the natural, layers that are in an onion allow you to dice just like that. And then you just do the last little bit like that. Right? Then we can take this pile of onion here. Just going to run our knife through again just to get any little big pieces. Now you can do this a lot finer. I want this a little bit more chunky. A little bit finer is a little bit more traditional. But that's half an onion. And that onion's about the size of a tennis ball, maybe a little bit larger. And please excuse the way I use a knife. My experience, teaches me how to handle a knife and be safe with it, even though it appears like I can hurt myself. But that doesn't mean that I won't hurt myself. But just knowing how to handle a knife is a big thing in the kitchen. Wipe that down. Wipe my blade down as well. All right, so got some onion cut. We're going to take our pork. Now, unfortunately, the label does not say, but those basically weigh the same amount. So we're going to take our pork, lay that in there, get that little, yes, this is called a diaper. So we're going to slit this right down like that. The meat is nice and thawed, not frozen. This will not work that well if it is frozen. Put that in there. Now, here's the bit that a lot of people just don't get. Using your hands is a good thing. It lets you feel what is going on. All right. So we're gonna put in our spices here first. So what do we want here? We want a 1/4 tablespoon of both of this. So we got a bit of ground allspice. Now, this should be with the allspice and with the nutmeg. Now, according to a Swedish chef, this is supposed to be a little bit of a Christmassy type flavor. Not full on, just a hint. So no matter when you make them, it's just to get that sort of impression of a wintertime I think it said quarter. I believe it said a quarter. Let me just double check. Quarter teaspoon of allspice, quarter teaspoon of nutmeg. Yes. So there we go. 1 onion diced. We used half of a fairly large onion. 1 pound of ground beef. 1 pound of ground pork. We're going to take our panko breadcrumbs. We're going to use half a cup of this, which we're just going to eyeball. There we go. All right. Kosher salt and freshly ground black pepper to taste, and 2 large egg yolks. So we're going to take that lid off. So we're just going to put a bit of black pepper in there. All right. And we're going to add just a little bit of salt. And we will taste it as well, just to make sure. All right, get that out the way over there. We'll put this back so we don't spill that, because we already had fun spilling stuff last week or 2 weeks ago, or a little more than that. When I made chicken and dumplings, dumped it everywhere. Let's see. Day of the Dead. All right. That's how you do it. All right, so we're gonna take a bowl, another bowl here. We're gonna set this off to the side real quick. We're gonna separate our egg yolks. We got a bowl here. So crack that open. Try to hold your egg upright as much as possible to capture that yolk. And just get the whites out. Egg yolk right there. Cooking is not the neatest way to do something, but when you put yourself in contact with your food, so another yolk there, bing, bang, boom. When you make yourself in contact with your food and you have your hands all over it, it just makes dinner a little bit better, in my opinion. So we're just going to set the yolk in that. We're just going to set that on the floor, out the way. We do not have a staff to help clean up, so we're going to just kind of throw things to the side as we need to. Okay. We'll try to be as neat as we can, but whatever. So now, for the part that gets a lot of people, I don't want to do that. That's gross. That's yucky feeling. Well, this is real. This is how you cook. This is how grandmas cooked. This is what makes good soul food real. I mean, anybody can follow a recipe, but to be able to make it, actually good, you have to do things like this. You get your hands in there and you pick it up and you mash it and you grind it. And you get all them ingredients moving around in there, and get that started. And once it all starts to come together, nothing's going to be flying out of the bowl. But the 2 varieties of meat will give it the flavor it's supposed to have. The beef and the pork. Now, you'll see meatballs out there that are turkey and all kinds of other goofy stuff. But we're gonna just keep mixing this for a while, because you want a really good consistency, a nice smooth type of things. Mr. Roland Keith, all the way from Australia, up again, which Mr. Keith really never sleeps anyway, because, you know, earlier today he was up doing a live stream with Mr. McStash. And that was this morning for us here in America. And I'm sure it was, it's about, let's see, it's about 13 hours difference for where he is in Australia, I believe. Either 13 or 14 hour difference. Because right now it is 6:30 p.m. Central Time here in Iowa. All right. So you want this to not have any real chunks of meat. You want this to be a smooth consistency. There we go. We're going to spread that out a little bit. Clean our hands off just a tiny bit here. Because we don't want to be wasting it, but at the same time, we want to be kind of neat. So but the fat in here will be nice and yummy. Of course, things escaping. All right, so at this point in time, we're going to take a little bit of taste. And yes, raw meat is okay to eat. We're not living in the Stone Age. We have to worry about parasites and bacteria. It's been kept cold since it was slaughtered. All right, not a problem. Now we're going to add just a little bit of Italian seasoning. Give it a little bit of herbiness. All right. Stick that on the floor. Now we're going to move over to our spoon and just do that because I was able to feel what's going on. So now we can be a little bit cleaner. A little bit, well, not cleaner, but neater. So we're going to just paddle that around there. And you can do this with a spoon from the very beginning. You can do it with a mixer if you want, but there we go. There we go. So basically the meatball mixture is ready. And the egg yolks that are in there are simply to help bind it all together. Give it a little bit of, just keep it all connected. So we'll go ahead and stick some of this stuff away. We'll need those out in a minute. So the allspice, the ground nutmeg can go away. This will set off to the side. The garlic will go in the sauce. We'll set that off over there. The panko breadcrumbs we are done with, so we can put those totally away. Sour cream will be for the gravy at the end. We got a lot of kitchen tools here. We're just gonna move that off to the side here. There we go. So now we're gonna get our hot plate. Get that set. And it's just not long enough to reach, so we got a little small extension cord. I'm just going to plug that in right like that. There we go. And it'll go in. Where is it? There it is. All right. So now we're just going to get out the appropriate pots and pans that we will need. Green onion there. But everything else we will try to put away as much as possible, just to make it a little bit easier on ourselves. There we go. All right. Stick that up there. So we got ourselves a nice little wok here. We're going to use that. We got a small lid for that as well. We got a second wok. So we're going to do our mashed potatoes in one. We'll do our green beans in another. And we got our meatballs. We're going to be using a nice cast iron pan here. Nice cast iron pan. Need to really work on that. So we're going to take a touch of the olive oil here. Do this quick wipe down. Don't need a lot. We're going to get our hot plate going here. So we're going to quick little rub down. Doesn't get used as much as I would like, so it gets a little bit dusty. So the oil will help to clean it and season it a little bit. So bing bang boom. You have a universal lid. Melanie Elizabeth, thank you for coming in. And your choice, like I said, these are the people who voted for the Swedish meatballs. Well, prepared is kind of a misleading thing. I mean, did build this cabinet right here, with good slides there for all utensils, all my canned goods, which we actually need a bit of canned milk for the mashed potatoes. All my ramen and Japanese stuff up here. My cutting board sits up here. Most of my spices and seasonings in this drawer. Then, of course, on the bottom, all my tall stuff, oil, syrup, salt containers, my Instapot, all sits down there. A couple of tools in the door. I try to be as organized as I can. It does make it a lot more interesting. So we are going to let this pan get nice and hot because we want to put some really good color. We want to put some really good color on these meatballs. Now, typically, this is what you would have at home. This is 2 pounds of meat, a pound of beef and a pound of pork. I could have cut the recipe down a little bit, but I can eat these meatballs for lunch tomorrow. I can put them into a soup. I can do other things with it. I can put them in the freezer. I can just have them as an appetizer. Slice them up, put them on some bread, on a tortilla. Throw a little bit extra different spices on it and make it like a Mexican meatball. I can do that. So, but that's the advantage of making larger amounts of stuff, whereas trying to always be so conservative with them is always going to be, sometimes it's necessary, sometimes it's not. My world, my way, Helen. How you doing? Lockdowns. Stupid idea. But that's neither here nor there. So we're going to take a little bit of the olive oil here. Tone that down there. So here we got our meatballs. Just getting ready there. We're going to try to level this out a little bit. Get up under there, I think. So we're going to take a little bit of olive oil right into the hands. All right. It's not only good for the skin, but allows you to do that. Nice little meatball. Now, Swedish meatballs are not meant to be perfect. I'm not trying to make them perfect. I'm just trying to make them meatball shaped. And, you know, the oil's there just to help give a little bit of release to the fat that's in here. I said 2 pounds of meat is a bit much in a truck, but I'm not going to skimp on showing you a full recipe that you can do anywhere. And of course, you can modify it just to bring it down to a scale which most people can use. You know, for a single person, you know, I would do a quarter of this. So, you know, a quarter pound of meat for the beef and also for the pork. You know, that would be good. You know, 1 egg yolk, you know, a fifth of, you know, or a sixth of an onion. You know, cut the spices down a little bit more as well. You know, just to, you know, make it a little bit more feasible. And you could also, you know, take the meatballs, make them up like this, freeze them, you know, put them on a little bit of parchment paper on a little pan, you know, a little baking sheet, put them in the freezer, freeze them raw, and then use them as you want. You know, that's not a bad thing. You know, you can. All right, so we got several done there. Let's go ahead and stick this off to the side there real quick. There we go. Well, we use this towel now. Why not? Why not? Just clean the hands off real quick. Mr. Brad Parks, how is Toronto treating you? So nice and a little bit of heat coming off that, so it's smoking. I don't know if you can see the discoloration in the pan where it's really getting the heat going. All right. Yes, and you will have to be careful with the pan, you know, getting hot. So we're gonna get our meatballs in here. Do not put too many of them in all at once. Do it in stages. That's 4. Yeah, so there's 10 meatballs right there. I think that's good enough to start. Now we have that on high heat. We're going to turn that down to about half. All right. Stick that lid on there just for a moment. But the meat smell and the smoke in here is pretty dang nice, but I don't mind it. So, well, and hopefully with the sauce we're going to put on it, hopefully it comes off the way we want it to. We'll see. Man, it's smoky in here. Okay. Got to open the window a little bit there, but we want to get some good browning color on there. That's the main thing. We want to get a good dark brown, you know, caramelize that too. Okay. Whew. It's a good thing Christina's out of the truck right at the moment. Ah. Woo. Yeah, baby. All right, so take a look at these. Looking good, looking good. We're going to let that vent a little bit. Leave that olive oil right there because we're going to need that a little bit more. And Make a few more of these meatballs. Get this big bowl clean. All right. There we go. Alrighty. I'm going to make a few of these a little bit larger, a few of them a little bit smaller. Doesn't really matter, you know. We're not looking for perfection. We're just looking for good, honest, simple cooking. Like I said, I got 10 meatballs in the pan right now. Let's see, 5. That's 11. And there's another dozen right there. Like I said, we'll cook the rest in stages, or we can just bag them up and freeze them. You know, freeze them raw. Well, Christina, instead of goofing off, you could have been out here helping, but glad you're watching as well. Appreciate it. Even though she deals with me all day, every day, she's now watching on the YouTube as well. Anybody who can put up with me is a saint. So hopefully Christina's had a little bit of fun while she's out with, you know, riding around America. And we are at Iowa 80, the world's largest truck stop. Here on Interstate 80, Walcott, Iowa. Alrighty. A couple little small ones here. Ain't gonna hurt nobody. Alright. There we go. Empty. Well, for the most part. Just kind of pile that one in there. There we go. Gotta take that off. Set that right there. Just for a moment. Take this. Kind of just turn these over here. Actually, a pair of tongs might be a little bit better. Let's grab a pair of tongs. There you go. Like I said, the more, well, that one just fell apart. The more like pate you make this, the better off it'll be. You know, the more smooth the meat is, the better it's going to be. Turn that over. Turn that up a little bit more. But we got some good color on there to start with. Clean our hands off real quick. There we go. Attitude, how you doing? Well, thank you, Helen. I do appreciate that. Shelly Michelle, one of the people who voted for the Swedish meatballs. You get to see it made. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. All right, so now we're just going to do a little bit of cleanup as we are able to do. So, and that's probably one of the biggest issues that I have come across with other truck drivers, especially. You know, some people who, you know, live alone, who are single. You know, oh, I don't want to cook. It's a lot of. I don't want to deal with the cleanup. Like what? Yeah. But the cleanup is just part of it. You know. I actually enjoy doing the cleanup because it's all part of cooking, and I happen to like it. So it never really ever did bother me when I worked in a restaurant it didn't bother me. I actually prefer to be a closing cook or a closing manager, whichever I was at. Getting things properly set for the evening. So when the guys came in the morning the next day, everything was proper and ready for them. Get that cleaned up. But definitely, having the will and the desire to cook. B, a little bit of knowledge, which I just have a little bit. That's all I have. Well, My World, My Way, Helen, I am using a recipe for these Swedish meatballs and the accompanying sauce. If you go to Damn Delicious, DAMN delicious.net, this is the recipe for Swedish meatballs that I am currently using. Don't need that towel anymore. That towel's dirty. That towel's dirty. Get a clean towel to wipe this down with. There we go. Nice and clean. Put that back where it belongs. All right. What am I going to do with it? I feel like I'm missing a bowl. I don't know what I do with it. Oh. It seems like I'm missing a bowl. I don't know. Okay, so we got a bowl here. We're going to take out our first set here. We don't need to cook these 100% all the way through. And you see a little bit of stuff that's left in the pan. A broken meatball here or there. That's only going to add flavor to the sauce. So I'm not too upset about anything that goes wrong per se. I'm just gonna get that straight down there. Okay, that's starting to get a little bit warm, so we'll take a towel. Redistribute that oil. I'm gonna get this just a little bit more level. There we go. Maybe quite. Let's try to get a little more level. There we go. I think that'll work. All right, so just a touch more olive oil. That's so we don't spill it as much. Load up the pan a little bit more. The old meatballs here. And I will be cooking all of these tonight. Just to get them kind of hardened off. Okay, so 4, 8. We got 11 in the pan. One of them's really small. 3, 6. We got another dozen right here. Set that right there for the moment. We're going to taste one. Not too bad. Not too bad. Well, Golden Gamer movies, yes, that can be a big issue, but 99% of everything I get at Walmart. 99% of everything I get is from Walmart. So virtually everything you can find locally. A little red wine would be nice. I agree with that, but being I'm in a truck, I cannot have alcohol in the truck, even to cook with. So not exactly going to happen. So we'll put that on there to get that temperature up a little bit. Let's see here. All right, so let's look at the for the gravy. A 1/4 cup of unsalted butter, and I use the Kerrygold butter. This is salted, so I'm not going to cry about that. 1/3 cup of all-purpose flour, which I have in the thing. 4 cups of beef broth. 3/4 cups of sour cream. Salt and pepper to taste, and chopped parsley at the end. We're going to modify that a little bit. We're not going to be making 4 cups of broth. That's more than I could have room for. And that's more than probably this pan can hold. So we're gonna cut that down by half for the most part. So we're gonna go into our little pantry here. There we go. All-purpose flour, the butter, and that's going to make a nice sauce, and a bit of dollop of the sour cream. We're not going to be using this whole thing. That's just not going to happen with this particular this particular outing here. But I think we will achieve a somewhat decent result no matter what. All right, so well, so far, like I said, we got, let's take, so like I said, we got some decent color on them, but they're going to finish cooking in the sauce at the end. And that's the big thing. So get a couple of towels laid out here. All right. Like I said, we're not going to do a boil the potatoes and make our own. Exactly, Salty Dog. This is King Arthur. Normally I would sift, but yeah, I'm not going to worry so much about it. I got a good whisk here. I'll just whisk the heck out of it, get rid of any lumps that may occur. Like I said, we're going to do some instant mashed potatoes, 2 packages of Idahoan. We're going to supplement that with some chicken, better than bouillon chicken stock. We're going to be adding butter to it. We're going to be adding a little bit of milk to it, a little bit of evaporated milk. Move off to the side there. There we go. Where my tongs go. Here's my tongs. Get a little bit more time to really make the meat more of a paste. That's more traditional for Swedish meatballs. I don't have the time for that. I don't think anybody has the time for that. There we go. There we go. Again, put the lid back on and keep that heat up. Adjust that. Diana S7G, how you doing? Well, hopefully it comes out somewhat decently. And like I said, there are plenty of recipes out there. I looked at 30 or 40, and I came upon this one from damndelicious.net, and it seems to be the one that I could go with. So this is the one I chose to do. Also, here on YouTube, Alex, the French cooking guy, did a series about Swedish meatballs that I think everybody would find fascinating, and I learned a lot from that one, from him. I actually have, and I liked his YouTube channel a lot. I bought his cookbook. And there are some things in here that I have used and have done. So there, it always, but I liked his channel. I liked what he does on his channel, on his YouTube channel. And I supported him by buying that, buying the cookbook and using it. Now, in case anybody hadn't noticed, I got a couple of T-shirts here with This Trucker's Life embroidered on it. So I got 3 of those while I'm here at Iowa 80. So putting out the brand there. Well, but that's part of it. That's what gets a lot of truck drivers, especially, scared of cooking. It's so small. I would prefer not to be sitting and cooking. Preferably. I'd rather be standing up. But at the same time, my desire to cook outweighs any discomfort I may have. Well, thank you, Golden Gamer. I do appreciate it. Now, let me see here. Let me see if I can get the link. Got my link address. There we go. If you want to, that is the link for my Facebook page. I do try to post a little bit about what I cook there as well. So if you want recipes that I do a little bit more detailed, I can try to communicate with you that way to provide that, because the vast majority of time when I'm doing something, I don't use a recipe. It's fly by the seat of my pants. This is how I like it. I don't think about it. When I make tuna salad for a sandwich, I don't think about it. I just do it the way I've always done it. When I make a ramen, I do it the way I like it. I don't think about how much. I don't think about the ratios of ingredients. I just look at it and just do it. Yep, this is a cast iron skillet right here. All right. Smelling good. And all that brown bits that are going to be on the bottom of that, that's going to make the gravy so much better. That's going to make the gravy so much better. Okay, we can, let's see. I think I can close this door here to the pantry. I think we can do that. Great. Because I need the floor space to put this pan down. Now, unfortunately, because I have such limited space, I don't have a way to move this off. Just put it wherever I need to put it. So, that's another reason why I use cotton towels. Wanda Wyatt, how are you? Good to see you. I haven't seen you in like a couple of weeks there, but thanks for coming in. Appreciate it. So like I said, I always use the cotton towels as kind of like a trivet, because the carpet here, plastic. It's plastic carpeting. Plastic fiber. I'm not going to burn my blankets here. So, I'll use the towel to put a hot pan, a kettle, whatnot on. but I'll put them on this so it gives that little bit of insulation so it doesn't, do any harm. Let's see here. Set that right there for a moment. And plus the cotton towel, always good for that. There we go. Those are looking just about done. All right. So we're going to put those off in here. Like I said, all the little bits of onion and bits of meat that have come off, I am not going to worry about because that's going into the gravy. We're not going to get rid of all that flavor and nutrients. That'd be a crime. The other thing we have to make sure we don't step on that. All right, so next we are going to get ourselves one of our woks here. Little 8-inch wok, little non-stick. Perfect size for a truck. There we go. We got a gallon of water here. Mr. Ross roams. Sir Ross, all the way from beautiful UK, England, London, Great Britain, the British Isles. So we're gonna, all right. We're gonna boil up a little bit of these green beans. There we go. We're not gonna use the whole bag, so we're gonna kind of just fold that over for a moment. As soon as I find my Ziploc bag here, there we go. I keep all my Ziploc bags in this this bag here. And I've touted the my fondness for these bags here because they are zippered and they are also vacuum sealable. What do I do with it? I don't know what I do with it, but I have a little vacuum sealer. I can put the little pump on there and vacuum the air out. A little bit nicer, a little bit more compact, a little bit fresher for a little bit longer. There we go. Throw that up in there. Let's see here. I do need my beef stock here. So a little beef bouillon stock. Yeah, right. So we're going to take find ourselves a cup here to mix this in. This is not what we want. Maybe not what we want, but we'll use it anyway. Adapt. Okay, so gotta be careful of that. Things flying all over the place. All right. So we're just going to use this little shaker bottle. Mr. Nathaniel Lee, how you doing? Long time no see, sir. So we're just going to use this little shaker thing for like a protein shake. We'll use that to do our gravy mix in. So we're going to take a little bit of this paste. Looks a bit like tar, but it works. It does work. Down there. Now, I'm going to set that right there for a moment. Set this off to the side, right there, I think. So we're going to add a little bit of the Italian seasoning. Can't even tell if I'm getting any in there. Yeah, we got a little bit in there. Okay. We're going to take a little bit of garlic. Throw that in there as well. Not a whole lot. We're going to get some onion out of the other pan when we make it all up. Alrighty. Now, we're going to give a little bit of seasoning, a little bit of salt in here. That's going to speed up the, that's going to lower the boiling temperature of the water. That's one. But two, it's also going to help to season, to bring out a little bit, to bring out a little bit of the flavor of the bean. Let's stick that up there. Okay, just going to be mindful of our feet here. Got another towel on the floor ready to go. So when these are just about ready, we'll take those off. We'll take the green beans off, just let them sit down there. We'll strain those in a little bit. We'll get the potatoes started. Once those are done, we'll take those out of the pan. We'll put them off to the side and let them sit for a moment. And then once we got that done, we'll bring the cast iron pan back up. We'll make our gravy. Once the gravy is to a certain point, we'll throw our meatballs in there. Then we'll bring everything together, plate it up. Now we're going to use this water here from the green beans. We're going to use that in our sauce here. You're not going to taste green bean flavor in there. To be clear, you're not really going to taste green bean flavor in that mixture. But we're not going to waste it. There's no sense in doing that. So we got to say, for our mashed potatoes, we're going to put a little bit of condensed or evaporated milk. I just always called it canned milk, but also condensed milk comes in cans. But whenever I say canned milk, I mean evaporated milk. So it's a little bit, some of the water has been taken out. So we're going to shake that up, make sure that's all the fats that are in there are properly homogenized through the entirety. So it has the proper consistency for it. All right, so we're just going to I need to put a better sharpening on this. There we go. Okay. So we got that open, ready to go. There we go. So the beans are boiling. That's all we need to do to them. So I gotta put that onion away, so we'll do that in a moment. There we go. So I got me a nice little scoop here. Little hold scoop. There, we're going to take that off. Set that right there. So just going to set those beans over here. And we will, when we get the gravy on them, the gravy will help to there we go. So now we have our beef broth mixture getting all nice and melted, getting that paste melted, releasing the flavor of that garlic and those herbs. So we'll kind of let that steep over there. So, instant mashed potato. Let's see here. 1 cup of water, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1.5 tablespoons of butter. For best result, do not add milk until step 3. Well, all right then. All right, so there you go. Like I said, I'm not really measuring that. There we go. And this is where we need the whisk as well. Little tear notch there. Okay. Set that right there. There you go. Go ahead and combine them there to make it a little easier pouring. Not trying to be fancy, but let's be fancy. So we're going to salt it. That may seem a lot to some people, but I like salt, so there you go. Miss Renee, we are in Iowa 80. I did come through South Holland a couple days ago on Friday. I wish I could have stopped again, but just not possible this time. All right. Whew. All right. Let's get this water. We'll put the lid on there. Increases the pressure in there. It helps to raise the temperature. We'll make that water boil a little bit faster. Now this morning, I made pancakes, which is pretty dang good. And I went through half a stick of butter just for the pancakes. So we're going to use a whole new stick of butter. So we're going to get a few other things kind of put away here. So get this onion in a bag. Need that chicken stock in a moment. Well, actually, we're going to throw a little bit of chicken stock in here right now. So to get that, to boost that flavor, I'm going to put a bit of chicken, some of the same as the beef, use a bit of the chicken. And if you really want to make mashed potatoes really good at home, chicken stock instead of just plain water is another layer of flavor. So that's done. I'm going to stir this up here a little bit more. So a nice dark brown. Smell the herbs. A little bit of the garlic, as well. So that's the main basis for our gravy for the meatballs. All right. So keep that. Gotta wait for that to start to boil. We're doing good. We're doing good. Okay. So we're going to take a little bit of flour here. Let me. What do I do with my cup? Oh. Take a little bit of flour, because this is what's going to help to thicken up our gravy here. We're just going to use a nice scoop or so. Now, Wondra flour is preferable, but we're not going to quibble. We're not going to quibble. Pack that down again. So, all these things got a vacuum pack, but I'll get the thing out a little bit. All right, and here are the people you can thank for the for tonight's selection. And here on the calendar, that's tonight. Next Sunday dinner has not been done yet. Tomorrow we are planning on shami kebabs, which Christina will make. Tuesday is open. We don't know what we have no plans for that day. Wednesday we're going to do breakfast for dinner. Potato soup on Thursday. Friday's open. Saturday, tempura, gyoza dumplings, Japanese dumplings, ramen or soba, like I've done before. So we will see, how things go. That's almost to the boil. But when we are doing these live streams, it is kind of difficult to try to come up with recipes, that we can have all the ingredients and it's going to carry over to the rest of the week. That's always a consideration that I have. And trying to give the variety, trying to give the things like that, trying to make it interesting without being repetitive is a hard thing. That's one of those things we just, it's very difficult to do. All right, so we got some boiling water here with the little bit of salt, a little bit of the little bit of chicken bouillon. And we're going to whisk this in, get that whisk moving nice and fast. 2 packets of instant mashed potatoes, Idahoan brand. This is going to be a little bit thinner than normal. But I have to take into account it's going to sit around for a little bit prior. So we're going to turn the heat down here a little bit so it doesn't glob all over the place. So we're going to get that cooled down a little bit. It's going to constantly whisk, 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 so we don't get lumps whenever possible. The only time I want lumps in my mashed potatoes when I'm making it fresh, and I'm not really making mashed potatoes. I'm making stirred potatoes, so I do have big chunks of. There we go. So that's spurting. It means it's too hot, and the moisture is being bound up with the potatoes. Take it off the heat a little bit, and that's the number one thing with cooking. It's temperature control. That's the number one thing. Get those stirred in, nice and even. Like I said, hopefully we don't get a whole lot of big powdery lumps. And when we're about to serve it, we're going to put in some milk and some butter. Move this down so I don't spill that. There we go. All right. See, they got a nice yellowish color. You probably can't see it too well on the screen there, but whisk that in as fast as possible. There we go. You can see it dries it up really quick. Now, the main part of it is the hydration coming from the water. We're going to add we're going to add to it with some evaporated milk. Give it that creaminess. Give it that smoothness. And it does impart a little bit of flavor. But the chicken stock and the salt will do more of that. We don't need that anymore. There we go. Stick that. I have no place to stick it. We'll just stick it right there on that towel. So we'll take our spoon here. A little bit easier to move stuff around there. Bit more milk. And we're going to put a little bit of butter in there. Just a little bit. Touch of black pepper. There we go. And we'll stir that on up. Got to give a nice consistency. It's good flavor, lots of fat in there. There we go. Take a little quick taste. All right, good. We'll just put a lid on that and let that sit as it is. Now, for the last little bit, okay, that's nice and cool. We're going to get our still fairly hot pan, cast iron, holds onto the heat a lot better. Going to turn that heat up. Lots of oil in the pan already. We're going to take some butter, stick that in there, get that melted. All right, get our get another spoon here, another wooden spoon. We'll actually get a well, it's got a flat on it. There we go. There we go. So, you know, more of a turner than a spoon, but that'll let us really get in here and get these little bits up. Chop that butter up a little bit. Get that heat going. So put the lid on there. Get that butter melted and get some of that water boiled out of the butter. Well, salty dog, that's still up in the air. I haven't decided what the possibilities are. But I try to typically Thursday at the latest. I'm trying to make sure that I have that up. But I will try to post that as soon as possible. It'll be posted on Facebook. It'll be posted on YouTube with the announcement video. So I will let you know as soon as I know. But we will see what we have as far as ingredients already present on the truck and what we can add to that, and try to come up with, like I said, I always try to come up with something unique, something new, something that I haven't done. You know, we're going to get to a point where we repeat stuff, of course, but I always want to try to keep that to a minimum, you know, or at least a month out. Now, we've done basically 2 months of these so far. And I do want to try number 10 meal again, which I got, okay, so last week was meal number 10. I asked the audience for recommendations for meals. I got zero recommendations. So no, last week was kind of a bust, and everybody was wanting to see me just make whatever, but it didn't quite work. You know, I had no idea what to buy, and I wanted to try to make it a little more special, but you know, this stuff, it just didn't quite work, you know, last week. And I may try that again, but we will see what we can do. But as far as number 12, I have no ideas of what is in my head yet for ideas for meals. Having Christina on the truck, she has a lot more knowledge of the Indian, Punjabi, Pakistani style foods, which I have very little experience with, but the things she has made so far, I have really enjoyed. They're definitely different flavors than I am normally accustomed to, and ways of doing certain things. So it is a learning experience for me. So that'll be fun. You know, maybe she will do a few more dishes. She's done one already where she primarily did a lot of the cooking, and maybe she'll do some more. All right, so we got the flour into the oil with the butter. So we're making a bit of a thickener, what the French typically call a roux. Now, most roux start off a lot thicker than this. This is going to be just a more of a creaminess than anything else. And we are getting all those little bits, those little brown bits on the bottom of the pan up. So it's helping to clean the pan, but also putting that flavor into this sauce. All right. So once that really starts to, the bubbling starts to slow down, we will put in our beef broth here. Once the beef broth goes in, it starts to thicken up a little bit. At the very end, we're going to add the sour cream and the fresh chopped parsley. And then we'll bring everything together onto a plate. I hope. Well, we'll see. Oh, that's where I was. I have to put that down there. So, anybody know who this character is? If you know who that character is, put it into the chat. If you know who that is and what TV show it's from. Oh, paperwork. Oh, that's the joy of joys. Diana, hopefully you're going to be okay. All right, so we're going to add this. There we go. There we go. Turn that down. That's thickening up instantaneously. Then that keep adding some more till that thins out a little bit to the right consistency. Ah, nice flavor. Nice odor. There we go. A nice brown sauce. Alrighty. Still got a little bit of bubbling from the heat, so here we go. Turn that up again. All right. Yep. If you can see who that is, whoever gives me the name of that character and the TV show it's from, you get to have week number 13 be the meal that you want to see made. You will be the only one to vote. You'll be the only one to suggest, and that's what we will make. So number 13, week number 13, 2 weeks from now, give me to who this is. Your meal will be the one that's going to be made. All right. All right, so we got our meatballs back in there. Going to kind of shove it to the side there a little bit. We're going to basically warm them up real quick. Get them all nice and coated in the sauce there a little bit. There we go. Stick it off to the side. There we go. We're going to try to bring that sauce back up to a boil a little bit. We're going to stick this off to the side. There we go. Our sour cream is going to be coming up in just a moment. That's one of the last ingredients we're going to use. No, it's not Tommy Chong. To me, this is one of the funniest TV shows, comedy shows ever to be on television anywhere in the world. There we got a plate cleaned off. We got a little bit of fresh parsley. There we go. Few stalks of that. There we go. Right. Can turn that down now. Open up our sour cream here. There we go. Take a nice little bit of a dollop right there on the inside. Just a touch more. That'll flavor. And that'll affect the color. I think might need a little more than that. And yes, it's a cast iron pan, so I'm not worried about the. I think that'll be good enough. There we go. All right, almost done, almost done. So we're going to take our knife here. We're going to take the top of some of this parsley here. Give it a quick old chop. Brings a little freshness, a little lightness to the dish. All right. So I'm going to take, let's go do this first here. Take a few meatballs out here. I'm going to do 5 of them here to start with, I think. Make sure that's off. There we go. Put the lid on that to keep that warm. Set it off to the side. Yes, this pan is hot, so I'm going to go quickly. There we go. And a few bit of these green beans. Right there. Parsley, Swedish meatballs, mashed potatoes, and green beans. Get a little more of that, that yummy sauce there. Put that on the on everything. Yeah, let me grab one more. There we go. Swedish meatballs, mashed potato, green beans made in the truck. Now we just need something to eat with here. Oh, let's grab a fork. Get in my so a simple dish. Now, unfortunately, I do not have any lingonberry jam to properly do this, and I am working on the constraints here in the but there we go. So. A little bit of tanginess from the sour cream. Not too bad. Not too bad. But I'd say thank you all for joining me. And typically, like we do here with all these recipes that I do, we did it under an hour from the very start till now, even with a little bit of goofing off to go. Yes, that's more than you can go to any restaurant, but we're not a restaurant. We're not serving, 100 people in a day. We're just trying to make a decent meal, and hopefully it comes out well. Sometimes it surprises us, like when the pasta maker decided it wanted to be acting temperamental, or when I spilled flour for making chicken dumplings. But other than that, not too bad. I think I'm going to have a good plate or two of this. And I think this might make a reappearance sometime in the near future as well. But we have several, more than a dozen in the pan. I have another dozen here that I can freeze and use in a different way. Like I said, make meatball subs. Just prime that, pop them into some soup, whatnot. But we will see. So, thank you all very much for joining me. I do appreciate that. And thank you everybody for coming in. Hope you all have had a good Halloween for those of us who celebrate Halloween. Especially if you have children. You had a good time out walking around with them, letting them have their special times of year. All the people in Canada, I know you've already had your Thanksgiving this past month. But America, we still have a couple of weeks to go. We got the third week in November here. Will be Thanksgiving. I think I may want to try to do a Thanksgiving Day meal here in the truck. It won't be turkey, but it'll be something similar, I think. So we will see what we can do. Also, we are coming up on the Jewish holidays and also Christmas and then New Year. So I hope we all have a good time this fall and winter. And hopefully we wrap up this not so fun year on a better note for everybody. And hopefully all have a good time come next year. We all feel a little bit more, a little bit better than we had this year. So I want to say God bless every one of you. Thank you for joining me. So My World, My Way, Helen, Melanie Elizabeth, Backwoods PNW, TJ Jones, Diane SFNG, Salty Dog KW, Golden Gamer, Healthy Living with Miss Renee the Barber, TJ Jones, Christina, Beard, always a pleasure. I'll see you in a little bit. Wanda Wyatt, Nathaniel Lee, Ross Romes, Margaret Storms. Let's see, Roland Keith, all the way from Australia. Mr. Brad Parks up there from Toronto. Shelly Michelle, Attitude. 2 ATVs in our life. Sorry I missed your comment. I do apologize for that. Always nice to have you. And anybody, all these people that are on the on here tonight, just please feel free to go look at their channels as well. Mr. Ross Romes, if you go to his channel, he does some nice driving and walking tours of the boroughs of London. Phoenix Music Rising, always good to have you. Thank you for coming in. Kane Hinson, still in your, and everybody else who joined me before I could scroll back. Thank you very much. And of course, this has been the Swedish meatballs with mashed potatoes, a good gravy, and green beans. So I'm going to have a nice food coma tonight. I mean, I think I'll be eating several of these before tomorrow. Where we go tomorrow for our next load, I do not know. We are in Walcott, Iowa, at the Iowa 80, world's largest truck stop. Got me a couple extra custom-made t-shirts, which is always nice. But I will say thank you all very much for joining me. So have a good night. God bless. And I hope to see you Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for driving and or loading on Facebook and YouTube. Saturday, we might be doing the tempura live stream for cooking. So stay tuned for that. And also next Sunday, I will be posting 5 more dishes for everybody to choose. And we will go from there. So hope to see you soon. God bless. Thank you.